You need to get some lower standards with Jesse and Alex. You know who else has lower standards, Phil?
Who's that?
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Pixel It Podcast. My name is Kevin. With me, as always, is Phil. And on today's show, we got Mike from the Tuluminati Podcast. Mike, how's it going?
It's going in a direction I can't stop it going in, and it's good. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate
that's a good thing. We're happy to have you because we love when things go in that direction. So
correct.
We love when things go in that direction.
What a book to have me read for this, by the way. I know we're going to get into it, but I just want to put out that.
Yes.
It's very
we are going to get into it.
It suits me in a strange way.
It does suit you in a strange way. I picked it and I was like, no, this is perfect for him. We're reading Blaster Master from the Nintendo Worlds of Power, created by our dear friend of the pod, FX9, also known as Seth Godin, and written by A.L. Singer, who has been the author of, I want to say, half of the Worlds of Power books that we've read so far. Is A.L. Singer?
I don't know if we've done A.L. Singer yet.
I thought A.L. Singer was a couple of the, A.L. Singer brings up a boxer. I was just Googling A.L. Singer. A.L. Singer author. There we go.
No, I've got him right. It's the pen name of Peter Larangis, I believe is how you say his name. A Harvard grad. Harvard boy.
I can see why he gave himself a fake name.
I mean, who wouldn't really?
It's like graduated from Harvard and you're writing Blaster Master.
You do get the impression that when it comes to the pay to write stuff, write for pay stuff like that. Yeah, that's when he uses his pen name, because he's done a lot of he has a crazy big prolific bibliography of just a lot of YA stuff, stuff that he's written, a lot of fantasy science fiction trilogy stuff, but he also did a lot of ghostwriting and wrote a lot of novelizations. And when he does the novelizations, that's when he's like, it's A.L. Singer. For example, if I wrote Surf Ninjas, the novelization, I might go with A.L. Singer.
See, me, I can appreciate and I respect his decision for it. No harm, chase that money. You got to do what you got to do. I'd slap my fucking name all over that shit. And
that
be
like, the first
that's
thing
right,
on my
that was
website.
Me. You want to talk about it? Because I'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
He also did the novelizations for The Sixth Sense and The Road to El Dorado. That's interesting stuff.
He is, if anything, prolific.
Yeah, and Home Alone 2, the novelization for Home Alone 2. I wonder if
do you think he wrote Donald Trump into it?
Do you think he wrote Donald Trump into it?
We have got
I would put money on the answer would be yes. And not because he wanted to, but because Trump probably would have been up his ass in the most annoying
I heard you're writing a
novelization.
Way. It's going to be a beautiful novelization. You just want to make sure.
Huge novelization.
It's not Trump. I'm Barron, his assistant.
John Barron or whatever his name
just
was.
Get him in the novel. I know he'll be so mad.
Oh, God. I know, because I know Chris Columbus, the director of Home Alone 2, wants to, go back and cut that scene out.
I don't blame him.
He wants to George Lucas all over that one. Yeah.
So, you know what? I'll let him, man.
Yeah.
Every director should get one George Lucas.
I think that's fair. I think that's
fair, right? Because you get the workout, you see it, you get time to absorb it. There's things I think everybody might agree would be better to change. Yeah. You get one George Lucas permission, and you get to swap some stuff up.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and so make it good.
Do you think Phil, he would pick Blaster Master as the one?
You've also done some research into Blaster Master lore.
Oh.
So before we do that, I want to tell everybody about a wonderful website named patreon.com/pixelitpod. You can go to pixelitpod.com or patreon.com/pixelitpod. They both get to the same place. You can follow us for free. You can join our Discord from it. We got 3 tiers, $1, $5, $10. $10 gets your name read out in every single episode. And to that end, I want to thank Jesus Loves You, Kyle Seaman, Ruthless Mutter, Middle of Things, Sigma Sal, Chut, Beaks, Dumma, Thick, and Friendly Friend. Thank you for being a friend. And Phil,
it's all true. I'm going to that Patreon right now, and everything he said is true.
It's all real. It's all real.
It's not a lie.
We wouldn't lie to you. We wouldn't lie.
It's Harrison Ford saying it's all real.
All of it. All of it.
Man. The one line I remember from that movie right there. I don't even see movies.
I've never watched a movie in my life.
That's
does feel that way sometimes. But yes, this is a fascinating book because this might be the only example we have of this period that a book we've ever talked about that's done this, but much less. It's much more interesting that it's a World of Power book. This book actually introduces characters like all of the Worlds of Power books. It takes some liberties with the source material, which is fine, but it introduces a character that ends up becoming canon. The female lead in this, who we're going to talk quite a bit about, ends up. She's just made whole cloth for this book. Almost everything else is pretty much taken directly from the book, but in which one? It was Blaster Master Zero. When those came out in like the 2000s at least, right? Like
it was
so it's kind of like the Harley Quinn of this universe, made
kinda,
in a
yeah.
different
She is.
and then made canon.
Yeah. And so they end up. This is the only time I think this has ever happened of anything we have read, where the novelization spawned a canon character, but it's extra hilarious that it came from Worlds of Power, which is unsanctioned by Nintendo.
Oh wow!
Seth Godin said he told us that he did talk to somebody, and they're like, "Listen, we're not going to put our stamp on it, but we also won't sue you." So
right. And so they can pluck that character if they choose to.
Exactly, which
that's
they
the
absolutely
price of
did.
admission. Yeah.
So it's fascinating
It's
for
like
that
mafia
reason
style
alone.
mob rules.
Yeah.
You're gonna break your knees and nothing, but every week we're gonna take an apple from your shop.
That's the thing is he did actually have a sit down meeting with Minoru Arakawa, the first president of Nintendo, and Seth was like, "Oh yeah, no, I would talk to Mr. A," and it was like, I've never heard anyone call him Mr. A.
Mr. A. That is absolutely a mob. That's a mob guy. I had a word with Mr. A. He said
That's
it's all
some triad
good.
shit right there.
Live and let live.
Yeah, that's actually really fascinating because getting deeper into it, there is lore in Blaster Master Zero that becomes more and more established, and it's weird. Also, this character that they created, Eve, we'll get to her. If you look up her art for Blaster Masters, at least 2 and 3, I was like, oh, fan service, McGee over here.
Oh, fantastic.
Mike, just so you know, she looks really, really smart.
Yes.
Really smart.
Really 1980s male idea of
Crazy
smart girl. Very smart woman.
Oh my God.
Huge tracts of land.
Huge brains. Of course. A fucking course. If only the book's plot was as interesting as like its origin story.
I know, right?
If only. So just
I'm
as
not
a
sure if I
reminder,
like you or if I'll ever do a show with you again after making me read this, actually.
which is actually the main goal of all of our. We try to do this.
Sure.
We are burning bridges on a weekly basis with this show. That's what we aim for.
Smart.
It's just me trying to find somebody I haven't talked to already.
And ruining the relationship immediately.
Yeah, just ruin everything outright.
And here we are. This book sucked. It was, but it's like a weird fever dream. I don't know if we're getting into the book, but I don't know, man.
We're gonna get into it.
Opens like a fever dream, for Christ's sake.
We're gonna go ahead, Phil. Let's put the body in the marsh.
Body, do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
when I tell you to dump a body in the marsh, you dump them in the marsh.
yeah, the book opens like a fever dream, and it starts with a teaser, which is funny. All of these books have teasers, and most of the time they're actually they're a scene taken from elsewhere in the book and rewritten slightly to make it seem like it's more tense or what have you.
Right. Yeah, because it just opens with a noise.
Yeah.
It's
And then
just bizarre.
we get into chapter 1, and we are introduced to Jason Frudnick, which is peak 80s character has a silly. This is like peak Scholastic humor, where it's like we just put a funny name on this character, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, like Jason's biggest personality trait is like he owns a frog.
Jason owns a frog.
That's basically him.
If you were putting a lower third on him, it would just be owns a frog.
Yeah, that's it. That's all he's got.
That's it. That's the whole fuck. That's all. 89 pages. There's really not much they can give him.
No, that's it. That's as far as they go with him.
That frog, man.
His frog is making a lot of noise, and this is a dream to start with. He's walking through his room. He opens his door. He gets hit by a blinding flash of light before falling out of bed. And we're in chapter 2 already. And he was having a bad dream. His pet frog, Fred, is making a weird croaking sound. Freaking out, wants to be let out of his cage. His dad, who never appears actually in the book, just yells off camera, basically.
Yeah, telling him the author just like putting a little bit of their trauma into their pages there.
It is kind of foreboding. Like you only see him for a second, but you're like, there's a story there.
Is he just escaping into his? See, in my mind, I'm like, this is the treat. So Jason is being abused by his dad, so he's escaping into an imagination.
He's escaping into an imaginary world,
and then he leaves and enters this like cosmic horror world, kind of.
Yeah, this is actually kind of like Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, or Homeward Bound. If like the Shadow turned into some like weird biomechanical like hell child.
Yeah.
Which no one will return my phone calls when I send them that screenplay, by the way.
It's like, I can understand. It's a gritty reboot. We can just go ahead. It's like the DCU. We're just really violent.
This is what people are waiting for.
Shadow comes back, but he's bad guy now.
Yeah, Shadow comes back, but he's a libertarian now.
Oh, fuck. Don't tread. The first words he said is don't tread on me.
And the second words he said were, how old are those puppies over there?
He gets beaten. All he screams is anarcho-capitalism. I don't get it.
You fit right in. You fit right in. So he has a frog, and he lets the frog out because that's what you do. And the frog is jumping, and it goes to the front door, and it starts throwing itself at the door.
Yeah. What if the twist? What if I slap a twist? Like there's a twist with this frog. What if the twist at the end is I reveal MAGA? Oh fuck. Oh fuck. The whole time I was lying.
The whole time.
Oh god. Oh no.
Sorry, continue. Yeah, the frog leaps
out the window. Is trying to commit
suicide.
Trying to commit suicide by throwing itself at the door. He opens the door, not the frog, Jason does, and the frog continues on to the creepy swamp that Jason never goes to. He gets the frog into the swamp. He loses his shoes in the muck. Fred vanishes into the bushes, and he catches up and he sees Fred sitting on a glowing box, and Fred is getting bigger and bigger and bigger until suddenly he sinks. Yeah, Fred being a frog sinks through the surface.
Actually, and a fraud. Kind of, if you think about it.
No one should trust anything Fred says. I think that much is obvious.
Yeah.
No one. Yeah. Chapter 3, Jason runs to the hole, dives down, and he calls out for his frog, but is only met by an echo. He lands on something squishy, and deep below he finds no signs of Fred or the metal glowing chest, and he turns around to see a humanoid pointing a gun at him. And this is the first of what I like to refer to as schmuck bait. Do you remember this term, Phil? Schmuck bait?
Yeah.
Okay, so in television...
I like it. I don't know what it means.
Okay, so in television writing... In television writers' rooms, at least this was the case in the 80s, whenever they did an act break, so an act break being like going into a commercial, and they had like, oh my God, the main character's about to die, or there's a gun pointed at them. And then at the other end of the commercial, it gets resolved without much issue.
Yeah.
That's called
definitely. Okay.
Yeah, writers called that in writers' rooms called that schmuck bait.
I love that. What a weird thing to put into a book.
It's true. It's like I can just keep reading, right?
Yeah, it's
I can go to the
page. Shit.
It's not like there's a commercial break that I have to get across.
No, that was when the author had to go like to the bathroom very badly.
Yeah. Just like, he was trying to inspire himself, really.
Yeah.
Something's gonna happen. No, he meets a woman named Eve Kijij or Eve. And she gives him a radiation suit to put on, and she's got some weird Russian language vibe going on.
Which, if he needs a radiation suit now, he's already dead.
Yeah,
I mean, that's true. It's
like
true.
my first thought was, bro, you're done, right?
You're
like,
done.
You know, like Chernobyl, they got like 60 seconds with shit protecting them a little bit. You're done.
He already got hit by the polonium. You know, he drank the polonium in the tea.
Yeah, he's about to. Yeah, he's
This is all a hallucination from radiation poisoning after he was exposed to something that came out of the swamp. That's all this is. This is all in his mind as he slips further away from living.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's
he
what I think.
Into
I
the
think
mud
we can
after
accept
he's
that that's what
suffocating to death as he dissipates into his own imagination.
And then in his final moments, his mother says, "Wait, I think he's going to say something," and he says, "Blaster Master."
This is all from that last like DMT dump your brain may or may not do when you die.
Right?
He's just having the wildest trip of his life.
Yeah. The last images of a dying synapse.
Yeah. This is why I don't want to do too many mushrooms, because this might happen. I might start seeing a frog. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't want this to be the beginning of my adventures.
No.
I don't want to go underground and have fucking Lilu pop up with a gun.
Kid is just dead.
She's got her multi-pass though. She's got red hair. Jason is in love, I assume, and they get into the vehicle, which is called. All right, how do you pronounce this? Is it Sophia the Third or Sophia Third?
So my brain automatically just said Sophia the Third, even though it literally just says Sophia Third. Third, but that just Sophia Third is just not.
It makes
weird. No sense. I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't know why that's it.
The Sophia Third has all sorts of weapons on it, but they don't work because they don't have enough power. And there's a robot that's about to jump on them, and it's going to crush them. And then at Chapter 5, more schmuck bait, it lands on top of them, and they sink further into the ground. And then Eve guns the engine. They're able to drive away and make an emergency jump. And oh no, robots arrive, and Eve's like, no, you got to press the button that says gun.
Yeah, basically, the Sophia the Third has like a missile button for everything. Like it's just like a fucking button that does whatever you need it to.
It's just like I just imagine just like a Nintendo controller.
Yeah, basically, that's exactly what I imagined they had in their mind, just like a giant button.
So the fun thing about these books is that the way the outlines were written was that Seth Godin just sat there and he watched his nephew play the games and just kind of like wrote the loose outline of a story.
That explains a lot of how Eve talks too, because Eve is like exclusively just speaks in like weird alien idioms and like half-assed Southern metaphor garbage. And I don't know. Like, what was it? Hang on. I wrote it down in my notes. Don't count your turkeys before they're in the bush.
That's not. Yeah, they keep going back and forth on. Like sometimes it's as simple as her mixing up a letter, and other times she is like reaching for the thesaurus. Basically, it's like okay, there's no rhyme or reason to this.
No, and other things like back up, drive forward, missile launch, lava pit. That's just what a Tuesday felt like in a 1990 NES games. Sorry, what? Okay,
all right, fine.
Good Lord.
So they fire the gun, destroys the robots, but they're about to drive off a cliff and there's boiling lava at the bottom, and we're in Chapter 6 now. Things are fine.
Just go.
Chapters are either a paragraph or
for
5
no reason.
pages. Yeah. Things are fine. Eve hit the button and they're jumping again, and they shoot some more robots. They have like a Yakov Smirnov level of jokes in here.
Oh yeah.
The car drives you. Like, thanks, Eve.
Right on.
Oh, Harry, good.
You're an excellent addition to this cast. Thank you.
No one pre-read this book for any reason before
it's one draft. It is one draft. He took it from A.L. Singer, handed it to Scholastic, and Scholastic handed him the check.
Pretty much. Like, thank you. And then they gave him 5 new contracts.
And I got to tell you, it's a good thing that his nephew was clearly good at video games, because at no point in the book is like, and then he died and he tried to kill it and he died again. And then he died and jumped into the fucking lava like an idiot and he died again.
That's just what life in 1990 NES games was like.
Because he didn't have any choice. Yeah, I played this game when I was younger, and all I remember about it was how smooth it felt. It felt good to play. But
play the game. Don't read the book.
Yeah. Play the. It's like it's done by Sunsoft, and they're the people who did the Batman NES game, which is also another feels good to play, and it shows. But I just to warm myself up for this, I watched a long play of the game just to get reacquainted with the whole thing. And it's all there. So and this was before YouTube. So theoretically, his nephew was like, yeah, I'm burning my ass all the way through this game. Here we go.
Yep. Thank God he was good at it then. Fuck.
Exactly.
If you were good enough, it took about 90 minutes to get all the way through it.
Right.
I was never good enough.
Well, and that's the thing is apparently there's no passwords, save states, or anything like that. So you had to beat it in one sitting if you were going to beat it.
Oh God.
It was one of those.
I don't miss those days, dude.
So anyway, they drive through like a glowing sphere left by one of the robots, and Jason's losing his mind, and Eve is like, nah, it's cool, we're getting our energy back for the vehicle. And then Eve gives an exposition dump that she is from a planet
That's
called
just the book, brother.
Yeah.
It's exposition dumps.
It's Exposition City. Planet called Signar L. And she had left to investigate life forms, and while she's gone, her entire civilization had been destroyed by a creature known as Plutonium Boss.
They just literally, I read that, I was like, did they forget to like give it a name? Or like, it is literally capital P, capital B, Plutonium Boss.
It really does sound like a placeholder. They're like, well, all right, well, we're going to come up with something really fucking epic. But for now, Plutonium Boss. Just remember, I like something about plutonium. That's it.
Was he typewritering this, or was he like word processing this?
I mean, it was 1990, so
90. Okay, so probably word processing.
I would say it's very likely he had a little he was typing on a word processor with those screens that were like this big, or something
there's
like
no
that.
Control F. Find
No
Plutonium Boss replaced with give it an actual fucking name.
Right.
Yeah, I remember, and that's the thing about being around our age is remembering I remember the transition from having a digital typewriter to which was basically a typewriter connected to a dot matrix printer,
Pretty much,
to a word processor to, why do we have a word processor separate from the computer that we already own?
The home computer was that was a huge upgrade, dude. Home computer, internet access, 14 years old, porn. Holy shit. I ruined my family computer numerous times with viruses. She had to take it in and get it fixed. And I was just like, I'm sorry, I'm 14.
Yep. And the purity of it is gone now, because they used to be viruses were just to fuck you up and ruin your day.
The pop-ups and just slowed your computer down. It did nothing other than just ruin your day.
It's all about money now. It's just phishing and shit like that.
Yeah, they use like your computer to farm fucking cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, there's no passion for it anymore.
They used to be in it for the love of the game. They used to be in it for the love of the game.
Now, thank God I invested all my money in NFTs. That went well.
I'm just going, great, good. Don't check your email.
All my giant monkey pictures are worth so much now, dude.
They're doing great.
Monkeys.
They're doing great.
They're doing great.
Monkey
I have a zoo full of monkeys.
Anyway, Eve's from a destroyed planet.
She's from a destroyed planet.
And the boss just eats radioactive material, so it ate her world.
He lived underneath the Earth for years, or Signar L, and then they had their nuclear revolution, and then he started getting bigger and bigger, and then he consumed the Earth, or Signar L, and now he's here doing the same thing to Earth. So
thank God he showed up when he did.
Yeah,
I just don't know if this is chapter 7 or 8 or whatever, but then they get to level 2, like literally, written in big ass metal letters.
Level 2.
Like, man, the check mustn't have been that big.
Yeah.
No way.
Because I feel like 2 seconds of thinking you could just make something up. You made up Signar L.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, hello?
Yeah, call him like Pluto Caesar or something like that. I don't know.
Level 2. Maybe this is supposed to be a secret game hint for people playing the game or reading the book at the same time.
Yeah. This is something the guy wrote over the weekend. Let's be real. He was like,
real.
I got a couple $1,000. This isn't worth more than a Saturday afternoon. Let's
minimal spelling errors. Like, great job. Like,
That's all it is. That's all it is.
He wrote it He wrote it sweating over a bottle of gin and a word processor.
You think I could pay him some money and have him write me a trash version of a modern game, like a God of War? Dude, it's already a narrative masterpiece. But if I could get him to create me a God of War, Words of Power, if I paid him a couple thousand, or you think I could do that? I would try. That would be amazing.
The sex scenes would be pretty outstanding.
But I would want him to have to call his nephew and like watch his now adult nephew play through God of War while he writes the book.
Who was probably nearing 50. Let's be honest. I think his nephew was.
Take him on a 70-hour journey, and I need him to write an 89-page novel.
He's like, I need you to write this book. It's got to be 88 pages.
It's just Axeman. In the book. It's like Axeman, all one word.
Yeah, Axeman.
Anyway, sorry. That's just a random thought.
I think that would be, I think we can run that by Seth. Friend of the pod, Seth Godin, we'll reach out to him.
Oh my God.
And say
let him watch a long play of it or something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So they meet Plutonium boss who threatens them with a weird rhyme. The rhyming doesn't happen ever again. He just does it this one time. He just does his slam poetry
for fools who dare. A dozen levels, save 2 pair.
I remember reading that part specifically. A dozen levels, save 2 pair, and I was like, what, so 8?
-4?
8?
Are they trying to say 8?
2 pairs is a set of
two
couples. So 4, right?
Yeah. 12 minus 4 is 8.
So 8.
This is a scholastic book, so they had to have some sort of math word problem.
Some education in it. No, and this is the thing.
My younger brother actually works for Scholastic. He's like their project manager right now.
That's cool.
That's hilarious. See, all the pieces are falling into place.
Yeah.
This is why it's okay for us to do this show, me specifically, because we have read several Worlds of Power books. And more than that, we've read several really shitty novelizations. And I never stop giving the author the benefit of the doubt. I was sitting there going, well, they can't possibly mean 8. Like, 12 minus 2 pair. That's got to be, there's something clever that it's going to be. They're going to Encyclopedia Brown this shit. And it's like, no, that means 8. Oh, God damn it.
Reading that many books, does that ever hit you when the podcast hits record done and you click, hang up on the call and you're sitting there? Do you ever get hit with like, I could have read so many other things and learned so many more useful skills. And you sit there knowing, except the name Signar L, and you may not even know why in a few weeks, but you will.
That's actually a good question, because I would say actually reading all of these bad books has actually made me appreciate reading good books more.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many bad novelizations out there. I mean, there's been some tremendous ones. So we
have gotten to read some very, very good ones, to be fair.
I bet there's some actual good ones out there.
The actual good ones, a lot of the Halo books, tremendous, top notch. And we just finished off. We just did The Witcher, the first Witcher book, because why not? The rules are backwards now. Because normally we have just been doing books that were novelizations of games, but the Witcher book came first. But yada yada yada. Who cares? It's our podcast. We can do what we want.
Yeah, fuck it. That's what I say.
So it's made us appreciate the good stuff more.
No matter what you cover, somebody's going to hate you for it.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's all it is, man. That's all it is. It's like that's the entertainment life, baby.
That's the entertainment life.
Be just what it is, baby. Z-list internet personality like we are. Hell, you got to deal with the hate. People, I've never seen. We do so much on Chilluminati, and nothing drives out the angry people more than aliens. I kid you not. Talking about aliens pisses off such an enormous amount of people, more than true crime, more than everything. It's wild. So
is it just because their opinions on whether they're real or not or something like that?
They don't like that I am a believer and I sound like a conspiracy theorist because I follow like FOIA documents and stuff, but to them that's an appeal to authority as opposed to fact, where I'm just following the money, bro. Like but that for some reason, I don't know why, but they have to come out and like in droves talk about how dumb and like how gullible I am and all this stuff. I'm like, then just do this if you want. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not saying there's little gray men shaking hands with Eisenhower making deals to abduct 10 people a year. I'm just saying it's of interest enough that the government has been heavily studying it for 50 years. Listen, I'm going to turn this into the Illuminati podcast if you let me. So stop. We need to move on. I apologize for tangenting. You need to rein me in.
It's not good at that.
We're not good at we can't even rein each other in when we go off on tangents. Half the time, Mike, the show, there's a middle 20-minute segment of the show where I just start talking, and then at the end I say, well, it's all Ronald Reagan's fault anyway.
And it is. And you're not wrong. That's the problem. See, we're all just neurodivergent dudes.
That's really what it comes down to.
We just see the patterns of society.
You just see the patterns, and then you blame Ronald Reagan in the end.
And then you're like, how are neurotypical people this blind?
It was either make this podcast or get really into trains. That was my only other option.
Man. I just turned my hyperfixation into a job. You know, like you see my sexy aliens that I have. It's hard to, maybe they're a little out of focus in the bookshelf, but that's like a sexy alien gray lady. Right there. And the little legs, that's another one with her little legs
I see
crossed.
Oh.
Yeah, she's up there.
I love it. Yeah, I love the
aliens are real.
Aliens are real and they're sexy.
But I don't think they're here because humanity's special. I just think there's multiple different intelligence.
They just happen to be here.
Some might be observing out of curiosity. Others may just be around. And also, they might be just things that are here on Earth that have been here longer than us, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. The Appalachian Mountains, older than the trees.
I want to visit the Appalachian Mountains one day, but it's so scary.
It is scary. Yeah.
Phil knows all about the Appalachians.
Yeah.
You live up there?
Yeah. My family has lived up there, and
shit.
We would we'd have like.
And you've never had anything weird happen to you?
No. I think it tries to avoid me. No, but here's the thing. The Appalachian Mountains are simultaneously the most beautiful and most terrifying place I've ever been, because it is scary, especially when you're driving around up there. But my fear usually comes more from the fact that there's no guardrail. I'm going to fall off this mountain and die.
No. Oh, man. I used to go hiking as a kid, and I hated being on the mountains, dude. I could just fall and be dead.
Yeah, and that's it.
No, thank you.
That's all.
So
we just need a Sophia third is what we need in our lives.
We need a Sophia third. Going on.
We all do.
They're going to level 2, but they run into a giant head.
So no head, bro?
No head? No. They run into a giant head, and the gun has no effect on it. And then Eve reverses Sophia back down the tunnel, and she tells what the fuck's his name? Jason that in order to activate the weapons, they're going to need to go into one of the small caverns that the car can't fit into and get it. And Jason's like, well, I'll go, even though you're the experienced one, because you know how to drive the car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't make much sense, but all right. So she gives him a gun. He goes into the cavern. He destroys a robot mini boss, and he's like, how do I find the energy capsules? Until he shoots a wall, and then he finds the energy capsules. This is literally the first mini boss.
I'm like sitting on this author's lap as he watches his nephew play the game, and he's literally just writing down what's happening. And it's like, all right.
Oh, and then you shoot the rocks, and there's the energy capsule.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
So
that's it.
Doesn't
he fight jellyfish at some point too?
He does. Coming up.
Absolutely.
He walks back out into the cliff, and he falls into a black lagoon beneath. And now he's in the water, and he's fighting his way through radioactive jellyfish. This is chapter 9, by the way. They're the worst. Yeah. These jellyfish are the worst. He keeps shooting them with his laser pistol until he sinks to the bottom, and he finds a ladder and climbs up. And then he finds a door and opens it, but he's hit with an explosion from behind. We're in chapter 10 now. It just keeps rolling.
This is the robots that are gumdrops with guns, as he so very much described.
I've never seen like you're no longer a gumdrop or something.
I don't know. I haven't played that game in decades, but I don't remember that enemy in the NES game. But that I'd play like fucking Candyland Black Ops, bro. Like,
Absolutely, I'd play that. No, that was. I remember the you are no longer a gumdrop thing. I remember trying to figure out what they were getting at. Like, is this again? Is this some
You're thinking too deep, dude?
Is this? That's the problem with
We're
me.
In literal
I can't
level
stop.
2. There's nothing deeper, man. There's nothing deeper there.
Clearly,
like this book is, you know how there's those people who are saying, sometimes the curtain is just blue, and everybody else is like, no, things have meaning and writing and stuff like that. But in this book, the curtain is just blue. There is
no, it's exactly correct. I think the quote,
there's no theme here.
He says, quote, Jason had never seen a gumdrop with a gun turret on its head. No shit, bro. Like, you don't think he's ever seen that in his life? He just dived into a swamp and he's dying in the mud. He's going to see a lot of weird shit in his mind.
He's going to see some weird shit. He's been electrocuted by radioactive jellyfish.
It's rough, man.
There's a Russian lady that keeps yelling at him. Shit's happening.
Yeah.
So he he fights his way through. He goes into this room. He shoots the gumdrop, and he's greeted by the plutonium boss again. And the room goes dark, and then it lights up. And in chapter 11, we got a boss fight. And
it looked like, quote, an enormous bloated mass of animal blubber.
Extremely
or descriptive words,
or a tumor, or a beating heart. He tries to fire at it, but it has a force field, so he has to get through the force field and fires at it till it dies. And he thinks that he's killed Plutonium Boss now. Yes. And he runs through the back door. He runs through the back door and he finds Sophia the Third arriving moments later. And he goes to, he's like, I killed Plutonium Boss. And then Plutonium Boss starts talking to him again. He's like, ha ha ha.
Like, oh, shit.
You've only killed Glass Joe. You still have to fight Piston Honda.
He literally shows up on like a fucking loudspeaker to monologue like a villain from fucking Thundercats.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what he's doing. Like, I don't understand. It's just what I am the villain.
I mean, Cobra Commander, just piping in.
It's perfect for 1990, though. It really is.
Absolutely. And Mum Ra is only a step above Plutonium Boss, but it's still better.
God damn.
Oh God. And then all right, so Jason affirms to Eve that he's in it to the end, and which she calls him a sandwich on a long roll, which she means hero. I mean, that's a really long stretch to get to hero.
Yeah. And he said, well, I will give them credit. He says hero, and she went, sorry, you're a really long sandwich on a hero, or something like that. It's like, okay,
you're a sandwich on a hero.
You're a sandwich on a hero. Okay, fine.
That elicited it's just like turned my cheeks up slightly. It was like almost a smile.
Just almost a smile.
I think
there's something there for a moment.
There's something there.
I felt something. It was the damnedest thing.
Damnedest thing. So they get the vehicles all juiced up now. Jason's able to shoot the head that's guarding the second level, and they continue on. But they have to emergency jump over some lava, and they hit some spikes, and the roof of the car gets stuck on the spikes, and it's tearing the car up. And then they have to, chapter 13, lean back in their seats and rock until the car gets unstuck. And then he fires some weapons, and it finally gets them off. Not that way. And then they
not yet.
Not yet. In the third game.
In my novelization.
Yeah.
In my novelization, written by
smart.
Chuck Tingle. Pounded in the butt by Sophia the Third. They land and begin repairing Sophia the Third, and meanwhile another underboss appears and Jason kills it. And asks Plutonium Boss, where's Fred? Who tells him that Fred is doing very well.
Thanks.
Jason feels sick after hearing Plutonium Boss talk about Fred, and then Eve
all that radiation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
That's what's happening is the radiation poisoning from earlier.
Sickness.
You've got to leave. You're not
got to get out of there, man.
Every now and then he hears his mother's voice like, please wake up. We're here. We're here in the hospital. Please wake up.
He's like, why do I feel oneness with everything?
And you hear the doctor saying, all we can do is make him comfortable now.
His stepdad say something about, my God, it's growing out of his fingernails. Like, it just goes on. Because I have decided canonically that that's his stepdad.
Mr. Frudnick is his stepdad, and he took his stepdad's name.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was one of those situations.
It was one of those situations. All right. Eve comes by with Sophia the Third to pick him up to continue on to the next level, but Eve isn't responding to anything he says and is driving the car towards a lava pit. And then he reaches out and she's a hologram. She's not actually there. And she's been like the levels of contrivance that you have to get to for this scene to actually make sense, that the car.
Well, if he can't touch her, how did she drive the vehicle?
How is she driving the vehicle?
Yeah.
Or is
like,
the whole vehicle a hologram?
Is the vehicle projecting the hologram? Because if it's not and the vehicle starts moving, she just slide right out of it. So by logic, the vehicle has to be projecting her.
This is like that. Yep. This is like the in Men in Black when he activates the anti-theft device and it puts a guy in the passenger seat or something like that of the car.
Yes, that's exact shit.
So it's a hologram. She's been kidnapped by Mr. Plutonium Boss, Mr. Peanut Butter, while Jason was fighting the underboss. PB taunts him about how pitiful he is and all that. And Jason's like, well, game on, you loser. I'm going to do this. And Jason beats level 3 quickly. Then he gets to the level 4 boss, which is a frog, but not Fred. And afterwards,
they're very clear on this one.
Very clear. He's a bullfrog that is not Fred. Afterwards, Jason sees a human.
Why is it a frog in the first place? Who fucking knows?
Who knows?
Well, you know what it is? It's a palette swap. It's because he fights 2 frogs in the fucking game and they're palette swapped.
That's fair. That's fair.
One's blue and one's green.
Yes.
Fred
is not blue. Or no, Fred is blue, if I remember. It doesn't matter. None of this matters.
It doesn't matter. None of this matters. Heat death of the universe is eventual. You know, we're all gonna.
We're good. We're good. Let's just keep doing this.
Space dust. Anyway, Jason sees a human arm is sticking out of a half-open door, and it happens to be a boy that Jason knows. It's Alex, the same Alex that Eve mentioned earlier, but it's also
Alex. It's just Alex, like
just
from
Alex.
Illuminati.
Yeah.
It's Alex.
It's Alex Fasciani.
Yeah,
and
who did not get picked up canonically? I wonder why. He's such a well-developed, colorful character.
Yeah. Who's Alex again, by the way?
Alex Buffoni.
Alex Buffoni.
Yeah, Alex Buffoni. Hey, it's Alex Buffoni. Hey.
It's Alex. Alex is here, guys.
Alex is here.
And when his line is like, I think is, hang on, let me scroll down.
It's like,
I dreamed I had left this place. Or maybe that was reality and this is a dream.
Anyway, has anyone seen my pet lobster?
He's posting MySpace quotes like before MySpace was a thing.
It's MySpace quotes. The top 8. So Jason's top 8 would probably be like Eve, Alex, and then his frog. He just doesn't have enough to fill out a top 8.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
That's it.
Yeah. Womp womp.
But he makes you believe that just because he only likes like 4 other people and 4 people and that's it. It's not that he doesn't have 8. It's just that he really cherishes 4.
He really just cares about 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. They beat level 5. Alex isn't much help. He gets himself together, though, in level 6 and is able to help a bit. Level 7 turns out to be some sort of ice zone because it was the NES and you needed an ice level.
You had to have an ice. We know how to get you to slide. That's important.
Or a really fucking windy level like Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, Mega Man has a few of those.
Mega Man, you know, they're like, ooh, what about wind physics? And
you ever played Wampum?
Wampum?
It's extremely racist sounding now because it is. But it basically was Mega Man, except you're a Native American.
No shit.
And it's an NES game. Womp. It's spelled like WHOMP.
Oh, Womp.
Space EM. Extremely racist regardless. I had this game as a kid.
Wow. And it was a sequel to...
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
It was
the original
Sayuki
Japanese,
World 2.
Oh, it's another like a Mario Brothers 2 kind of like skin swap.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
You could trot that fact out as like Wampum was actually Sayuki World 2 in Japan.
Holy shit, dude. That's
nuts.
We're
going to have to play this on stream.
You need to. Please, good Lord, play that game. That game I remember loving a lot. It beat my ass in. I don't think it was good though.
This is how we gain our following. We're gonna play.
Yeah, this is it, man. This is your dude. From here to MAGA to right wing politics to money, bro.
Oh my god, you're right.
There it is. That's it.
There it is.
That's all. You just
The whole
grift.
plan. Mwah,
Grift
it's right
them.
there.
Yep. Follows.
Love that for us.
Oh God.
If only we didn't have morals.
Hopefully we didn't have morals, you know.
I know.
So my friend was somebody was saying that they were just watching Clueless, and I was like, I just remembered Stacey Dash is in that, and she did the pivot to right wing grifting before it was cool.
Yeah,
like,
sure
she did
did.
it like 15 years ago, before there was like real money in it.
She had her finger in the wind, man. She knew where it was going to go.
Yeah, she was a true believer. That's what it comes down to.
She was a true believer. The grifters you have now are just like
They
believe in money. They don't really believe in the whole
You
shit.
can really pull
Security's
videos
gone,
of them
man.
being hypocritical of their beliefs within months of each other, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Mean
matter.
anything anymore.
Just like this fucking book.
This is just like a book.
Honestly.
Just like this book. Eve is running out towards them on the ice zone. And Jason is happy, but Alex tries to shoot her and does. And Alex explains that it wasn't Eve. It was an atomic bomb disguised as Eve.
Which is
He knows this based on something that Plutonium Boss mentioned to him while Alex was down in the genetics lab. They get knocked back by some cannon fire, fall into a ravine, and then go through a door that says no trespassing. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not skipping anything. It is just and then.
It
It's
really
a very
goes
proud
like,
tradition of these Worlds of Power books, and it makes sense because they were made in the late 80s, early 90s. So it's a very proud tradition of the literary montage. This is it. We just get boom, boom, boom.
It is. What chapter are we in? I did in my notes. I didn't write chapters down.
We're
like an
on
idiot.
chapter 17.
17.
Yeah.
So we're about to come into like where things go kind of anime-y.
Yeah.
Oh, very much so. Yes.
Oh, totally. Because the seventh and final underboss is Fred, his frog.
The twist. He was a villain all along. He was him. I'm MAGA.
Yeah, there it is. Chapter 18. Alex wants Jason to kill Fred as Fred is just tossing him around with his tongue. And Jason explains to Alex that it's his pet frog, and Plutonium Boss has turned him into that thing. And Alex explains that is like the level 5 underboss, the one I didn't help you with. That was my pet lobster, Plutarch.
Oh God, dude.
Plutarch the lobster.
This game, I don't know what it is, but this book went like hard on like the pet frog emotional trauma.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know why. Like the emotional trauma over this frog is insane to the point where it gets its own redemption arc almost instantly.
Yeah,
Like,
100%. He ends up killing the frog. They work together. He shoots the frog, and right before the frog dies, it looks at him with betrayal in its eyes before it vaporizes. What I imagine into like gore and viscera. They leave that part out
with a tiny little ribbit.
How does it die in the game?
It just blows up like everything
Okay.
else.
Okay. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, I don't think they address in the game that that's Fred. I don't think they at any point say, "Oh, it's weird that we had him fight against 2 boss frogs."
Yeah, no.
and he's chasing a frog. They don't get into that narrative level, unfortunately.
Yeah. Jason pulls a full Darth Vader with and they escape the ice cave.
You have to.
As it collapses, but Alex hurts his ankle as they try to get to the next door. It's blocked by a chunk of ice, and then Plutonium Boss. The following sequence makes no sense to me. The door gets blocked, but then Plutonium Boss says like, "No, you have no choice," and he like casts like level 9 magic hand from across the map. And picks them up with an invisible force field and just like drags them through walls and floors and stuff like that. It's pretty intense. And then he drops them at his feet.
That's the anime shit. Like a nuclear powered space demon flying laser fights and emotional screaming in like the most Dragon Ball Z Naruto fucking way ever. It's actually the best part of the book.
There's some emotion here.
Easily.
Yeah, there's something going on here, and I'm like, I can disappear into an anime world in my head pretty easily. This is great. I can do this.
This is great.
Yeah,
I
we
can
roll
do
with
this.
that. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just the torture leading up to it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I feel like this could have been an arc in Delicious in Dungeon, even like, you know,
Sure.
why not? So he Plutonium Boss monologues at them for a bit and reveals that Eve is all chained up. And she tells them that for each person, Plutonium Boss will look different. So to Alex, he looks like a giant rat. To Jason, I assume it's just the description of the monster that he actually is in the game.
Yeah.
And to Eve, he looks like a winged carnivore from Signar L. Plutonium Boss reveals that he's a new device that will let him generate all the energy he needs, but he needs to test it on some people, like the three of them. And he turns it on and it begins pulling.
If it gave him all the energy he needs, would it not sate him and he'd become less violent? That's all he wants, right? He just wants to eat and feed.
He just wants to eat and feed.
So if it gives him all the energy he wants, just sacrifice yourselves. Let it go, man. Maybe it's better that way.
If it's about saving the planet, I feel like, let's go for it. Come on.
Greater good, motherfuckers.
Greater good, people.
Exactly.
So yeah, it starts pulling Jason and Alex into it. Eve points out that Plutonium Boss is using his energy to get the cyclotron started. That's the name of this device, the cyclotron. Jason dives and grabs his gun and he shoots the cyclotron, which rips a hole in its wall, which then starts pulling Plutonium Boss into it for some reason and lets the heroes free. Just shrug emoji at what's changing here. Plutonium Boss is flinging desperate attacks at them, and Jason fires back eventually, forcing Plutonium Boss back to the hole, and then he gets sucked sickeningly into the hole in the device. And I just imagine it's that scene from what is that? The really bad Aliens movie, the one with Winona Ryder, where
Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, where the dude gets sucked into the hole.
Out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, the cyclotron begins to self-destruct, and Eve's like, "No, we got to do something, or it's going to destroy the world." No. Chapter 22. Jason's flipping random levers. Alex and Eve.
Are they labeled like missiles and gun?
Yeah. They're just flipping levers. And it's like it's basically the scene in Spaceballs where he opens the thing and it says "fuck." Even in the future, nothing works. Alex and Eve join him in turning dials before being flung backwards by another tear in the device. Jason braces for the end, but nothing happens. The cyclotron has been deactivated, and now the place is falling apart. They run, and Eve shows them to where Plutonium Boss stashed Sophia the Third because he wanted to use it as a pleasure vehicle? ?
Don't want to know.
Yeah, the less said about that, the better.
That we just know, if we've determined it can produce holograms, then I don't want to know.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
I
it can do a lot of stuff.
No, I'm good.
Not gonna kink shame.
No, I'm gonna kink shame this guy. Actually,
not gonna kink shame. I just don't want to be there. I just don't want to be there.
Don't want to see it. Not my circus, not my monkeys. They retrace their steps up through the levels again, but Sophia the Third runs out of power right at the end. But they are fine. They're always fine.
Auxiliary engine, baby.
Yeah, they're good. They're in the lower part of the swamp hole. And they climb up to the surface and they feel the sun on their face. And Eve's like, the air stinks. And Jason laughs so hard he falls down and takes a nap.
Yeah. The final quote of the goddamn scene is, "He was home, stinkoed or not."
I want you can just tell her that you're in a swamp and that's not how everything else smells. But he's just like,
exactly.
You're right.
How about we just came from a radioactive destroying planet of a giant boss where we had to kill my friend frog and a bunch of other things. This boy went from boy to murderer in 89 pages. There's other things to worry about.
and Eve is like, "This place stinks," and he's like, "Ha, you're right."
You are right, young girl.
I'm going to nap now.
Good night.
He wakes up and he's back in his house, and there's a news report on the radio about the earthquake that was caused by Plutonium Boss's demise. There's a noise at the door, and it looks like a tall frog when Jason opens the door. He slams the door but falls backwards, but it's actually Alex in a mask playing a trick. But wait, Fred is actually there too, and so is Plutarch. It seems like Plutonium Boss is just using the images of the pets to make them sad. Also, Eve is now living with Alex. The end.
That's it.
Yep. End of story. That's it.
He's like, my parents are totally cool with her living with us. They love science fiction stuff. So as long as she keeps telling them about that, it's over. And I get to see some Mondo titties. Like, did a bunch of innocent people die because of that boss? Like, is that the implication? I mean,
like, is this like, did the book just like turn the final boss? It was like a radioactive blob that turned your pet frog into like a war criminal?
I think so.
Is that what this book is doing? And then it just ends?
I also love, by the way, that before Jason realizes that his frog isn't dead, Alex, as far as we could tell, Alex is playing the cruelest prank on him ever. Like, he might as well shown up in like a mask resembling his dead grandmother or something like that.
What if it's like The Thing but frogs, dude?
Right? Oh, now, all right. And I read that. I give the A+.
He's not dead. He's still around. Exactly.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
And God, just like the book, the podcast ends. Goodbye. And just like it ends.
Yep.
Oh God. So Phil, I'll start with you. What did you think of the book?
Mike, this might surprise you, but this was not the worst Worlds of Power book we've read. Not even a little.
I don't know if it surprises me, but would you put it in like the lower echelon?
I put it smack dab in the middle, to be completely honest. Yeah.
What do you think is the worst? Is it?
Oh, Mega Man 2.
Mega Man 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mega Man 2 feels like it has more of a story built into it than Blaster Master does.
And they ignore it entirely. They add details that, like, they make Mega Man human.
Maybe they are basing the book off of the North American cover or whatever it was of the man who's holding a gun and shooting, and they didn't look at the game at all. They just saw the cover, and that's it.
It is truly heinous. It is a very, very bad book. It might be the worst we've read.
That's fair. Interesting.
Metal Gear wasn't great.
Metal Gear was bad.
Actually, I think the best one was possibly Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden was all right. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the thing. We talk trash. We recognize these are books made for children.
Oh, absolutely.
But children still deserve better than this. That's the thing.
There's always a line where it's like kids can be written for, but not written stupid. You know, like
exactly.
Yeah.
And this was written stupid.
It was written stupid. Yeah.
This was written for a paycheck. But I enjoyed talking about it more than I enjoyed reading it. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. We enjoyed having you on to talk about it.
Yeah,
it was great. It was super fun. The book was not. It was like a fucking
disaster of a.
Yeah. It was a disaster, but
it's super fun that you're on the show, and we totally respect and appreciate that you'll never speak to us again.
That's it. But I will not tell the other two that, so that you can ruin their relationship with the other two.
That would be very appreciative. If we could burn 3 bridges on the same podcast, that would be amazing. That would.
Next time you see, if you have a member back here, it's because you offered me such an apology gift that I couldn't say no.
So before we go, Phil, I just want to ask you one question.
Oh, yeah, sure.
What are you playing?
Oh, I'm playing a lot of the same stuff. I'm still playing Claire Obscure. That has become my weekend game because I do not have time when I come home. I have I have an 18-month-year-old, and I come home from work and I do not have time for anything but like some tower defense shit and everything like that.
Absolutely understand. My sister has 3 kids of her own, so
yeah. And so that's my Saturday game. I get to sit down and really get into it, and I'm really enjoying it. I love the combat. The story is shockingly. I don't really go for the big Persona style stories so much, but it has hooked me, and it did make me well up in that first act a couple of times, which is impressive as hell. I'm having fun with it. I'm having fun with the bad guys. I think they're really excellent. I played a couple of demos. I played the demo for a indie game called Final Outpost, which is a kind of city builder, zombie apocalypse kind of thing. It's very rudimentary. It was nothing much about it except the one thing that I only bring it up in the first place because it had a mechanic that I haven't seen before in one of these games, and that's birth. Because you're at a zombie, you're this area and you're bringing people in and stuff. And every now and then, based on how much time passes, you get a new member of the society, that as they can take on jobs and stuff like that, which is
what's the name of the game again? I'm gonna write this down.
It's called Final Outpost. It was fine, but that was the mechanic that like caught my eye. I thought that was really interesting.
Okay.
I also played the demo for Talisman, the 5th edition Talisman, the old board game, and this is I don't know if either of you have ever played Talisman. It was just a really rudimentary fantasy light RPG board game that came out, I think, in the 80s originally. And this is just it's a very nice package for a video game version of the board game. It's just the board game, which there's no problem with that because I'll tell you, the thing about it for me was that I have a lot of fond memories of going into a Denny's with my friends and taking over too much of a table to play this board game, drinking too much coffee, trying our best to tip the waiter as like something that they deserve, but never being able to.
You're a young kid and you're broke as fuck.
No, exactly. And playing this game until like 2 a.m. and I have a lot of and it recreated that. I think though, it's something you have to play with your friends. It would be a really good thing to have your friends play, and if you're sitting around talking about other stuff and just shooting the shit and playing this game, it'll be super fun, like a lot of board games. But sitting there playing it against the AI, it's a perfectly serviceable adaptation of the game, and it looks really good, but it bored me to tears after a while of just playing it by myself. It would be fun to have some people on to play, but that's me. So Mike, what are you playing?
I'm actually also playing through Clair Obscur right now. I'm like 50 hours in. I'm pretty heavy into chapter 2, but me and my girlfriend always like play a game that I play and she'll watch. I actually very much am recently into the Persona stuff. I basically hadn't touched JRPGs in years, and I really loved them as a kid, except the Western RPGs, like having influence and choice over the story really dominated my taste, and it still is my preferred taste. But I jumped into Persona 5 Gold Edition, like the Ultimate Edition, maybe 6 or so months ago, and after 137 hours of the game, I was like, oh yeah, I do like JRPGs. Yeah. And, I haven't jumped into one after that. I kind of was giving myself a break. I was going to jump into 3 Reload, but then Clair Obscur kind of came around, and out of nowhere, people were just like heaping praise on this game. Yeah. And so I was like, well, fuck it. Why don't we jump into this, see how it is. If we don't like it, we don't like it, we move on. And immediately was just like taken by it. The story is excellently well done. The voice acting is incredible. So good. I wasn't spoiled on any of the stuff that was going to happen with the characters in the early first half of the game, which was great. And Gustav's voice actor, I was listening to it, and I'm like, I know this guy's voice. I know his voice.
It's Daredevil.
And it's fucking Charlie Cox of Daredevil. And I'm like, because anytime he did an emotional scene in Clair Obscur, I was like, that's upset Daredevil voice. I know that voice. But I got really into just like learning about the history of the game, and the development of the game is phenomenal. The story is so cool. I don't know if you know much about it, but the developer originally pitched it. He was Ubisoft guy, and he pitched it to Ubisoft, and they said no. And he wanted to make this game so bad he left. And he had a little small team of 6. And the person who did the music, and the music in this game is incredible, is somebody he just found on SoundCloud who never produced anything professional in their life. He's like some young 20-something-year-old. The writer was a woman who was an investor who they found on Reddit. He made a post on Reddit to get his original team.
That's amazing.
And he plucked people out of like nowhere. The guy clearly has an eye for talent. Yeah. And he just cobbled this team together with a shared vision and passion. And now the team, I think, is 50 people by the end of the game's development, which wasn't all that big. And it's just, you can see the passion in every ounce of this game. It's so well done. Yeah. So I'm with you. I'm on that Clair Obscur ride right now. It's been my life. I've also been quickly crushing through. I never got to go through Hades, the original Hades, back when it came out. Yeah. But Hades 2 is like almost done, and I'm watching people play it, and I'm like, I want to play this, so I should probably play the first one. Yeah. Other than that, I'm heavy into like simulation games. I don't know if you are very much, but like X4, I love playing X4, but a new like XCOM style, Invisible Ink style game came out by a pair of developers who has a very good track record. It's called Cyber Knight's Flashpoint. It literally came out of 1.0 yesterday. It came into 1.0 yesterday as they were doing crazy amounts of development and updates.
That is extremely Phil's shit.
Yeah, it's yeah. The Treese brothers are very, very good at what they do. They have very interesting ideas, and everybody they're very open with playing with a lot of simulation elements. So this is up your alley, dude. Definitely check it out.
This looks lovely. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look at this.
Check it out. It's great. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been into, and it's been eating up my time. It's been great.
Yeah, awesome. I actually haven't been playing anything new somehow this week. Well, okay, I'll tell you what happened is I was putting hours into Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon, and I got through the first act, and I was like, this game kind of sucks.
Fair enough.
Don't you
I
hate
know that feeling.
It's like,
You like
so
it's the moment of like, do I? Because if you go from that point on, you have to finish it.
Yeah,
You're
it's
all
like,
right, fuck
it's
it.
like I finished the big story elements of Act 1, and I'm like, it's like somehow my motivation to play it just went boop right off the cliff, because I was like, wait a minute, let me tell you, the first dungeon of the game, the dungeon that you start off on, is really intriguing and it's fun. It sets this world up and you're all like, this is really cool. And then you're like, you get out into the open world and you start doing stuff. And then you're like, oh man, this is just like a worse version of Skyrim. And you just
That's unfortunate.
and you just keep it just kind of like getting more milk toast as it goes on. And then I finish Act 1 and I'm like, I don't care anymore, guys. This is going on the did not finish pile. Can't return it because I accidentally put 20 hours into it.
That's the other part. It's like, oh well, fuck. I just gotta keep the money.
It's like the opposite day version of like the whole, well, when you get 20 or 25 hours into the game, that's when it gets really good. It's like, you get 24 hours into the game and it starts to really suck. You really start to hate it.
Yeah, I gotta make a decision now. Listen, I'll turn you, if you want something, I don't know if you liked Morrowind back in the day, and if you're okay with indie game.
Morrowind, loved Morrowind, and I've been disappointed pretty much with everything since then.
it's not it's not as big as Morrowind, but it's open in that way, and it's got that older look. It's called the Dread Delusion. It's another phenomenal indie game. It came out in 2024. It's like $20. It's an open world RPG with like exploration and dungeons and shit. But it's like it looks old school, but it's it came out last year by these devs, and it's a lot to this game, and it's just. It's a beautiful, weird game to explore. It's super like dangerous. There's a lot there. If this is like something that you even think would tickle you, like I think you should.
It's got some cosmic horror shit. This is crazy.
Yes, it's fucking cool, dude.
Okay.
It's a very, very
Sick.
cool game. Give it a shot if it's up your alley. If you think it
goes.
even remotely up your alley. That's like the shit I'm into.
On the wish list it goes. But yeah, and the only other thing I've been playing is I've been poking around at Hollywood Animal a little bit more.
Yeah.
If Mike, have you heard this one, Hollywood Animal?
No.
Basically, it's a simulation game where you run a Hollywood studio back in starting in like 1929. And the fascinating thing about it, it's like this game set in 1929, and we're not going to hide anything. Things sucked for minorities and women a lot
they really
back
went
then.
like, on the reality side.
You will hire people for parts like a director, and you'll see a little label on their name, and you hover over the label, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy's racist. So if you plan on casting anybody of color in your movie, the actual quality of the movie is going to be affected because you have a racist director. Or this guy is addicted to opiates, or this guy is addicted is an alcoholic, or whatever.
That seems interesting. It's still in early access too.
It's still in early access, yeah. So like not everything. So you have like all these different skill trees that are based on there's like some main buildings that you build. There's like pre-production, post-production, and all that, and then within each building there's skill trees that you develop that take time to develop. So like pre-production or the producing office, like you can hire new producers, or in the script in pre-production you can hire a story department, so you can actually put together your own story elements for a screenplay and assign it to a writer to try to develop.
It reminds me of that game from the early 2000s.
Yes, the movies.
The movies.
Yes, that's exactly what it's called.
I
Correct.
loved
I
that.
loved that game. I made my own little tiny short World War II film in that thing.
I put so
awesome.
much time into the movies, and it was that was what's his name? That was Peter Molyneux, right?
Yep, Peter Molyneux.
sure was.
Yeah.
He's
Black
And
and
just,
white and all that
like
shit.
you'd expect, it didn't quite achieve what they were going for, but it was still pretty good. It was still pretty good.
It was like, oh man, this would be great if he didn't overpromise and underdeliver again.
That's exactly it.
That's all he ever does.
He's very
Hey,
good
who
at it.
remembers Milo, everybody?
Well,
The little virtual boy that definitely didn't make you feel like a pedophile. Nope. Do you not remember that?
oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Lord.
Yeah.
Cool. So I got that game on my wish list now.
Yeah. I'm glad. But yeah, also I'm going to get into the Rematch. I got into the beta test for Rematch, which is the people who Slow Clap, the people who made Sifu and
Yeah.
Absolver. They made a soccer game.
Soccer game. That's right. I actually I'm very interested in that.
And I asked to be in the beta test. It was on Steam. I was like, apply for beta test, and I just got a pop-up that said, "You're in." And I'm like,
That's awesome.
okay.
I'll take that. Thank you very much.
I'll take it. But yeah, no, I wanted to get in there and check that
I'm gonna
out.
have to apply for that too.
Yeah.
Oh, this
But-
is so over the top. Looks super fun.
Yeah.
Sifu.
It's after Absolver and Sifu. It's like a soccer
love
game.
Sifu.
Really? Okay.
Let him go wild. Experiment.
But go wild, Slow Clap. Do
Yeah.
your thing. That'll do it for
not?
tonight's episode, though.
yeah.
Thanks so much, everybody, for listening, and thanks, Mike, for being on. If you want to go ahead and plug whatever you got to plug.
You know what? I got one thing to plug. And it's one thing only. Thank you for having me on. It was super fun. That was a really fun book to just even talk about because of fucking insane it was. But if you want to find me, just Chilluminati Podcast, wherever your podcasts are, on YouTube, whatever. If you like comedy and true crime and paranormal and weird shit, that's what we do, baby. We've been doing it for 7 years. We're going to do it for at least 7 more. Other than that, yeah, that's kind of, oh, you know what? If you like tabletop RPGs, and you like that kind of show, check out my tabletop RPG Vampire the Masquerade show. We wrapped up a 6-year campaign a few months back, and we just started a campaign 2. Essentially, you can find that at Pod by Night anywhere on YouTube and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you guys again. It was a pleasure to be on. I very much enjoyed it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So y'all out there listening, you can find us on Blue Sky and Instagram and Patreon, as I already said, and you can go to Discord and all that. But beyond all that, Phil, I got a question for you. I got a there is a giant mechanical bird that has been roosting on the top of my house. What would you say I should do to get rid of that?
Do you have your keys nearby?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Check the ring for an old-fashioned, old-timey, big, thunky kind of key. And then you're going to take the key, approach the bird from behind, and slide it gently into